Title: I overheard my drunk wife blurt out, "Girls, I've got a new boy toy with a huge, dark Johnson, and it's awesome." I snooped and found the motel where they met up. When I entered the room, strong, stinky odor smacked me in the face. I remember the smell before I remember the sight. Cheap cologne, sweat, latex. That's what hit me when I pushed open the door to room 214. The air was thick, humid, like it had been trapping secrets for too long. And then I saw it. What was left of what I once called my life. Her scarf, the one I bought her in Florence, hung off the bedside lamp. A lipstick stain bled down its edge. His belt on the floor. 2 empty wine bottles on the dresser. And on the sheets, a dark, sticky mark that made my stomach twist. That was the smell. It wasn't perfume. It was sin, warm, human, and rotten. I slipped off my wedding ring, let it clatter onto the floor, and watched it roll until it stopped beside a used condom. That was the moment I vanished. Quietly. Perfectly. But not before I made sure she would remember me forever. It started 3 nights earlier. She was at her sister's bachelorette party. Drunk, loud, the kind of drunk where truth leaks through laughter. I was home half asleep when her call came in accidentally. Pocket dial. I should have hung up. I didn't. Her voice came through the speaker, slurred but givey. "Girls, I've got a new boy toy with a huge, dark Johnson, and it's awesome!" The room erupted in shrieks and laughter. She kept talking, too much, too clear. How he was so different, how I'd never find out. But I had already found out. Right there, listening to her giggle about another man's body. My wife. My best friend. We were married 9 years, met in college. She was the loud one in every room. I was the quiet observer who saw past the noise. She used to say I made her feel safe. She was right. I built our life brick by brick. The house, the accounts, the future. Funny thing about building something sturdy, it takes years to construct and seconds to destroy. After that call, I didn't confront her. I waited. I watched. I paid attention to details I used to overlook. Her perfume changing, her phone always face down, gym sessions that never showed results. 2 days later, she came home late again, hair damp, excuses rehearsed. While she showered, I mirrored her phone to my laptop using an app I'd written years ago for work. 10 minutes later, the truth was flashing on my screen. Motel bookings under fake names, text threads with him, explicit photos that made my hands tremble. He worked with her, warehouse supervisor, married too, apparently. Their messages were filthy, but it wasn't the sex that broke me. It was the tone. Playful, intimate, familiar. She used the same pet names she once used for me. Pain can make people impulsive. I prefer precision. I spent the next week planning. First, I copied every message, every photo, every motel receipt, encrypted them on a flash drive labeled insurance. Then I quietly withdrew money from our joint account. Not all of it, just enough to be invisible. She'd never notice. She never noticed much, really. I met with a lawyer, told him I suspected infidelity. He advised caution, discretion. He didn't know that I was already 10 steps ahead. Next, I made a call to the HR department at her company, anonymously, of course. Sent them evidence of her affair with a subordinate. It was just enough to ignite an internal investigation. By the time I walked into that motel room, the match had already been lit. I didn't come to kill anyone. I came to bury something. Room 214 smelled like betrayal and cheap air freshener. I didn't need to see them together. I already knew what had happened there. All I needed was closure, physical proof that she had crossed the line completely. So I took photos, the scarf, the bottles, the sheets, everything. Then I left my ring there, a quiet signature, my final piece in her crime scene. And before I closed the door, I placed the flash drive on the nightstand, labeled it simply for HR. The next morning, she called me 6 times. I didn't answer. By noon, her tone had shifted from playful to panicked. By sunset, she was suspended from her job. I watched from a distance, not out of cruelty, but completion. I saw him lose his position too. His wife found out, filed for divorce within a week. As for her, she came home to find the house empty, my clothes gone, her accounts frozen. The lawyer I'd hired filed the papers that morning, citing infidelity, attaching every shred of evidence. She called again that night, crying. "Please, we can fix this," she said. Her voice cracked. It used to melt me. Now it only reminded me of the motel walls and that awful smell. I said nothing. Silence is the purest punishment. People think revenge is loud, shouting, breaking things, screaming for justice. It isn't. It's quiet, cold, surgical. I disappeared the next day. New city, new number, no forwarding address. I left her with the pieces she broke and the silence she created. Sometimes, late at night, I imagine her walking into that motel room again, finding my ring beside the used condom, realizing what it meant. That was my goodbye. Not with words, not with rage, just a ring, a smell, and a silence that would never leave her. You don't have to kill someone to destroy them. You just have to let them live long enough to realize what they've lost and know you're never coming back.